So the big question is this: how do investors like us who don't have a PhD in finance or millions to start investing, how do we grow our bank accounts to build real savings and retirements and yet still have the time to do what we really love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
Hey guys, John Wood here, the super cool episode of the Stock Market Podcast, and I'm super excited today to get a haircut, which is going to be awesome because tomorrow we're going to get to film a bunch of sales videos for the book, and it's just going to be super exciting. I'm so excited for it. But there was this one thing that happened last night that was pretty interesting, and I thought I'd come here and talk about it because what happened is, my brother came over for the weekend. He's with Sam. So these two kids are having an amazing fun time together. Everyone gets home, and I go to bed at 8 because I got stuff to do. And these guys stay up all freaking night. So I wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning to start going. And these guys are still awake from the night before. It was just the funniest thing ever. And so they go to bed like right around when I get up. And now they're going to be asleep for probably the next, 4 or 5 days. It's been a while. I've been getting some stuff done. So it's like 10 now. They'll probably be asleep until like 2 o'clock today, which is just like crazy, because then they're gonna like get up and then have dinner and stuff with everyone and basically like do it all over again, right? And it's something interesting that happens, and I guess you see it more on the weekends, but like where you start to see a duality emerge, and there's like daytime people, nighttime people, and I see that people like stay up super late, and it's interesting to see how those people fare like during the normal week, right? So like if these guys slept till 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, like you can't really do that usually. I mean, you're going to miss the stock market opening bell. I mean, what else is more important than that? But like in all reality, it's kind of tough to function in society. It's interesting because I used to be in that same kind of place where I was staying up to like midnight every night, and I was just having giant parties and just doing whatever the heck I wanted. And at the beginning, it's like super awesome, but it gets to the point where it's like you're drained during the normal day, and then it's like you try to thrive in the night, but like you're totally alone, right? And it sucks because like you can't collaborate with people, you can't work with people, because everything happens, in the morning. And then you have this weird thing that happens where like, myself and just like normal people who are waking up, at reasonable hours, get up and start to go and start to do stuff, start to crush it. And it's like those nocturnal, the other side that just stays up all night, they sleep through that. And so a lot of times you get a little bit more at night, right? You get more experiences, you get some crazy stuff happening, you have some fun, but then you maybe miss out on, what really matters during the day. And it sucks because there's a very easy way to just, fix that, right? It's like go to bed on time. But for a lot of people, it's like this idea that they want, that extra little rush at the end of the day, or the dope, or there's a lot of times it's a problem of like discipline, right? It's because it's tough, to go to bed every day at the same time, and it totally makes sense that people struggle with it. But it really was interesting to see this stark contrast where like these two guys, they're like passed out asleep, and then everyone else is awake having a giant party, right? And it brought me to think about like if you're working on some kind of project, or really just in any group environment, like what actually gets you to the goal versus what's avoiding the goal. Because I think, there's 24 hours in a day, and there's always 24 hours in a day. And, when you sleep, it's basically totally controlled by you, right? And so because you have control and it's your responsibility to figure out what you're going to do, when you like, I think, when you go to sleep really late, or you stay up really late, like it kind of messes you up. At least in my experience, I've always usually I try to sleep 8 hours a night. But if I like stay up super late, I'll sleep like 10 or 12 hours. So it just kind of like destroys 3 or 4 or 5 hours of my time that could have been used, working on what really matters. And so it's like, first of all, you're killing time by messing up your sleep cycles, because you're not like in the same rhythm. But more importantly, like it's avoiding the team, right? So if I'm working on a group project and, we trade 9 to noon and then we work in the afternoon, if I'm like passed out until 2 in the afternoon, first of all, you're not generating revenue from investing, which is like, come on, the super fun part. But more importantly, like you're seriously missing out on a big chunk of that time. And it shows, when you have people that wake up maybe 15 minutes before a meeting starts, like we have these 8 a.m. classes at school, right? And, I get up at 4 every day. So it's like, I'm like on point. And it's really, really interesting to see the difference between the people that, like, you can tell, got up before this class started, and the people that got up like 5 minutes before the class started. Great example of this. About 2 weeks ago, I was borrowing a second camera, to do some shooting for video content for like the back-end membership site for 9 to noon. Super, super fun stuff. So I get this camera and I get it on loan, and I have it for like 4-5 days. And it was like the 4th day, and I've been doing a bunch of shooting with it, and it'd been awesome. And then on the 5th day, it was like the last day. Like, I got to turn it in the next day at noon. And I really wanted to do an options course. I was really was like, I just needed to teach the options course, and I was going to implement it into the back end of the 9 to noon site. So that's what I was working on, right? And oh my God, see, like, some of you guys are going to see this now, and you're going to know the story behind it. So this is the story behind it. Anyway, so I get the camera, and I have it for like 24 more hours. It's like 12 noon the day before it's due. And I'm like, shoot, dude, I got to make this happen. So I had some work to do. I had some classes. I get back to the dorm at like 6. And I'm like, all right, guys, peace out. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I go over to the food court, which for some reason stays open until like 2 a.m. And like, nobody kicks you out because they open the next day at like 7 a.m. And there's like always people there. So like, they're basically open like all night. You just have to stay inside or you'll get locked out. So I go to the food court, and then they have like these offices upstairs where they have like, desks and TVs and whiteboards and stuff like that. And you guys have seen the options course. I mean, this is what happened. I got an office. I got 2 whiteboards from other offices, brought them together, and set up like the camera on the second camera. And like the next 12 hours, all I did was record that course on options. And it was intense, man. Like, it was super, super freaking cool. Like, it was everything I knew about options and like all the collective. Oh my God, it was just amazing. Really, really, really valuable content and super exciting stuff. And what was cool was like, I just freaking went hard for, I don't know, like half a day. And then it gets to like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm starting to wrap everything up. And I'm like, oh man, dude, I am wiped out. Like, it got to the point, this has happened a lot recently when I'm recording all these courses, where like I get so tired, because I like scream at cameras. You have to scream at cameras to like really get your emotion in it. So I'm like going 100,000% on these courses. And so like, I am dead beat. Like, my eyes are closed in some of the last modules, and at the beginning you can kind of see like people walking behind the glass door behind me, because like it's the food court. And it was the funniest thing. But anyway, so I start to get towards some of these later modules, and we're getting super, super deep into options and investing, and like, oh my God, it's gold. I'm so proud of it. And like, my eyes will not stay open because I am so ridiculously tired. And it was really, really, really interesting. So I finished up the last module, and there was a couple, just a little bit more to do with technicals. And I was like, dude, I am dead beat. I'll do the technicals on my computer another day. I'll just do a screen recording of it instead of using these 2 cameras. Because it's sometimes easier to teach technicals just with using a computer, because you actually have like the chart in front of you versus drawing on a whiteboard. So that was really, really cool. So I get through all this content, and I say, all right, I'm packing it up. I pick up 2 cameras. And what I did was I brought just like a giant, whoa, shoot, dude, what is this guy doing? All right, sorry. Anyway, I brought just a giant bin of protein powder and a little box of MCT oil and a blender bottle, and I had like probably 6-7 protein shakes like throughout the night, and like that was my fuel for the entire night. It was the funniest thing. Oh my God, it was freaking, oh my God, it's amazing experience. Tons of like energy just from protein and MCT oil, which is pretty funny. But anyway, it gets to be like 5-6 in the morning. No, it was 5 in the morning. And so I go back to the dorm, and like, I'm so beat, and I have class, it's class at 8, right? So I'm like, all right, well, what should I be doing right now? Well, I got to get up at 7 to eat breakfast, because like they start serving breakfast at 7, right? So I'm like, all right, well, I had this course I was going through. So I'm like, all right, well, let me go through this course. And so I go through about an hour and a half of the course. It gets to be like 6-ish. And I'm like, dude, I'm so tired. I can't go through any more of this course. Like, I'm about to die. So I walk over to where my first period class is, and I was going to go inside, but the door was locked. So it was probably like 5:30, 6, like 6:30. And breakfast, they open at 7 and the class starts at 8. So breakfast wasn't open, so I couldn't eat breakfast. So the door's locked in the building. So I go and I find a seat that's like on camp. It's like right across sort of the hall where the door is. It was kind of like an outside classroom in Skiles. So I go across, I sit in the chair, and I bring a neck pillow, the kind that you bring on an airplane. I blow it up, and I sit down, and I just freaking pass out in a chair. My goal was like, somebody will wake me up for class that starts at 8. I hope, please. And that was the strat. That was the strat. Was like somebody would see me, and since they're in my class, they'll know that it's me and they'll wake me up. Well, that didn't really work. So it gets to be like 8:30. Remember, class starts at 8. It gets to be 8:30. And like, there's this guy with like a leaf blower, and it's just ridiculously loud. Like, it's this massive, massive, massive leaf blower. He's blowing like all the leaves everywhere. And so basically that guy wakes me up and I freak out. I'm like, oh, what's happening? And I don't know if you guys have like had this feeling before where like you stay up super late and then you have like a big sweat attack. Like when you sleep, you sweat a bunch. And maybe it's because I was like sitting outside in a chair with like a sweatshirt on. I don't know. But basically, just like I was like drenched in sweat. It was really weird when I woke up. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to go to class. So I stand up and I kind of like shake it off after getting a solid 1 or 2 hours of sleep. And then I walk in the classroom and just sit down. Oh, there you go. All right, cool. Sit down and, halfway through the class, I come in, we start to do some math, stuff like that. And like, you can tell, like people can tell, like, dude, something's up. And like, this guy's like, dude, what's up? I'm like, dude, I woke up about 15 seconds ago. And it's like, because who do you think got more out of that experience, right? Like, was it the person that got up, 2, 3, or at least an hour before class, got dressed, got pumped, got ready, and was going hard? Or is it the guy that like literally woke up like right before class started? Guarantee, like I was dead beat, like nothing in me, no energy. When I was watching that classroom, because I didn't have any freaking sleep. And, I see a lot of people and these kids, they're getting up like 5 minutes before school. Or, it's not just school though, right? It's like anything that you want to do seriously. Same thing with the market, if you get up at like 8:55 to start trading at 9, like where do you think your productivity is going to be? It's a very devout and a deep question. And it's this question of like, do you want to be that peak performer or do you want to tumble down? So hopefully you guys can make the right decision. You can go out there and crush it. Hope you got a ton of value from this episode. Go out there, have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, bye. Want more stock market secrets? If so, go get your free copy of my best-selling book, 9 to Noon. You can get your free copy plus $11,176 of unannounced bonuses it took me years to uncover completely for free at 9tonoonsecrets.com. Inside 9 to Noon, you'll find the top 38 secrets you can use to double your portfolio every 2 years and make upwards of 10% per trade daily.